Good afternoon, everyone. This is Coach Matt with our Tuesday workout. We're going to do a benchmark called Danny, and before we do that, we're going to do push press skill work. So let's begin with the warm-up is 2 rounds. On one round, I'd like for you to jog 400 meters, and on the second round, I'd like for you to do about a minute of just some light rope skipping and jumping. So just some easy little bounces, and you can alternate feet if you'd like to also. Nothing too crazy, but just get a little bit of that lower extremity prep work in with some hops. When you finish that, we're gonna go onto the bar, and this one I would like for you to do the first round, just some kipping, and maybe you can work on the initiation of a little pull-up. So at the back of the kip, we're squeezing those lats down and bending the elbows just a little bit by flexing the bicep. And then on the second round, do some pull-ups, set your pull-ups up, have them all ready to go when we finish the second round. The third thing is just some progressive shoulders to overhead practice. We will do a little drill set after the warm-up, but you can start with just some strict presses, some push presses. If you'd like to do some jerks or practice like just bending the knees and stretching your ankles out, getting that front rack ready, feeling nice and tight and secure in that front rack with the bar. And also, if you would like to do this workout with a pair of dumbbells, the dumbbells can be a really good modification for if my wrists or shoulders are sensitive to the angle that I have to hold an object at. So a lot of times with the barbell, it's a more extreme shoulder and wrist position to hold it, especially when it's heavy. So the dumbbells can kind of alleviate that and still get the training for the shoulders and the triceps and the legs that we get out of the barbell push press, all right? So just think about that if that makes sense for you to do today. The last one is some renegade rows, and I got these same light dumbbells. This is just a little complex of a push-up, row, row, push-up, row, row, okay? And obviously I can do this on my knees if I need to in order to accommodate the push-up position. When we get finished with the warm-up, we're gonna do just a little bit of skill work. What I'd like you to do is some pause dips in the push press position. So that is practicing sitting at that bottom position just for a minute, not a minute, but just for a few seconds. And a lot of times when we do the push press fast, it turns into this forward rolling motion where my heels come up off the ground every time I dip down, and that inputs a lot of forward to backward instability into the movement. So what we like to do is have the bar and your body move completely vertical when we do the push press. So that is the drill for today, is sit straight down, hold, and then drive up and press, all right? The push press is much more efficient when we can keep our heels on the ground even when we're under a lot of fatigue, right? Another trick for this one is the angle that my feet sit at, right? So if my feet are pointed straight ahead and they're relatively narrow, I have a lot less ankle flexibility than if I will widen my stance a little bit, turn my toes out a little bit, and when I dip down, I push my knees apart, right? So that allows my hips to sit straight down on my heels, and it keeps my heels from coming up off the ground and gives me a little bit more stability and control at the bottom position of the dip, all right? So those are just a little couple nuances, but the dip drive press movement is still exactly the same for the push press no matter what, all right? And then we're getting into the workout. So we set up our pull-ups, we got a box to do our box jumps on, we've practiced our push press, set up that moderate load for the push press, and this should be a relatively significant load. 115/85 is the prescribed weight, but what we'd like to see is that I can get through the first set with 1 break, and maybe after that I'm doing like 2 breaks per round, right, on the push press. This is an AMRAP style workout, which means we'll start on the clock, 3, 2, 1, go. 20-minute countdown in order to get as many rounds and reps as possible of 30 reps of a box jump, right? So jump on top of the box, stand tall. Then the next one is the push press. So I've got my bar sitting next to me, or my 2 dumbbells, pick it up to my shoulders, and then 20 reps of the push press, dip drive press, and then over to our bar, and we're doing 30 reps of the pull up, right? So chin over the bar, arms straight at the bottom, and accommodations for this or scaling for this would be if the box height is too high, we lower the box, or if it's too many reps, we lower the number of reps. The weight on the push press, the dumbbells on the push press, the scaling on the pull-ups, so either a band on the pull-ups or ring rows for the pull-ups, lots of different ways. If you think one thing is I'm taking my body from the ground onto an object, the next thing is I'm taking an object from my shoulders and putting it over my head using that functional movement pattern of dip, drive, press. And the third thing is a body weight pulling exercise. And I want all the reps to be in that like higher volume range. So 30, 20 is a relatively high number of reps for each of those exercises. And we're repeating it for 20 minutes. So that's the template for today. And you work with your coach and figure out exactly what the scaling should be for each of those things. And then work hard for 20 minutes and it'll be good. All right. Have a great one, you guys. And I'll see you on Wednesday.